The last thing I want to do is create a logout link. There is already a logout link inside the admin WordPress bar, but I prefer to create one inside the theme. There are two ways we can go about this. We could edit the theme and add the link, or we can use hooks. In our case, either solution is valid since we're the creator of the theme, but hooks work universally and will scale better. We'll go with the hooks route. Inside the main plugin file, I'm going to add a new filter hook called WP Nav Menu Items. This hook is triggered when WordPress begins to load in the menu items for a theme navigation menu. It'll be passed in the raw HTML menu items for us to manipulate. The name of the function I want to call will be called JU New Nav Menu Items with a priority of 999. I set the priority to a high number as I want the logout link to be placed at the end of the menu. I'm going to create a new file inside the includes/front folder called logout-link.php and define the function here. Lastly, make sure to include it. Since this is a filter function, we'll be passed in a value and be expected to return it. The value that's passed in is items, which is the raw HTML menu items. The first thing I'm going to do is create a conditional statement. I'm going to check if the user is logged in. I'll be using the isUserLoggedIn function to accomplish this. I want to check if they're not logged in. If they aren't, then I'm just going to return the items as it is. There's no point in displaying the logout link if they're not logged in the first place. If they are logged in, then I'm going to generate the link to the logout page. Create a variable named newLink. I'm going to set its value to a pair of opening and closing li tags. In between these tags, I'm going to call the function wp-login-out. This function will generate a link to the login and logout pages of WordPress. However, since we're only displaying this link if the user is logged in, it will always show the logout URL. This is fine by us. This function has two parameters which we'll want to take advantage of. The first parameter is the URL to redirect the user to if they successfully log out. I'm going to set this to the home URL function. I'll pass in a / to indicate I want the URL to be the root URL. That should set up the redirection. The second parameter is whether this link should be echoed out or not. Since this is a filter function and I'm returning data, then I want this link to be returned. By default, this will be set to true, which will echo out the link. I'm going to change this to false to return the link. Now that the link is generated properly, all we have to do is return the items and append the new link variable along with these links. After doing so, let's refresh the page and see what we get. The logout link should appear if you're logged in. There is one noticeable problem though. The logout link appears in both the primary and secondary navigation menus. This is a bit redundant. The filter hook we're using will apply our changes to all menu items regardless of their status or location. Something I do want to note is that this filter hook will only apply to user-generated menu items. As you may know, WordPress will automatically generate a menu item if a user doesn't have one set up. This is usually the case on fresh installations of WordPress. Anyway, let's assume the user created a menu and we want the logout link to appear on the secondary menu item only. To force the link to appear in only the secondary menu, we only have to make one small change. Back inside the main plugin file, we'll have to update the filter hook. This filter hook is dynamic. This is optional though. To use the dynamic version, all you have to do is add the menu slug right after the WP nav menu phrase. In this case, it would be secondary. Just like that, the link should appear only on the secondary menu. Refresh the page to see the final results. That should do it. If you want to learn more about the login out function, then check out the resource section of this lecture.